Yes, people, just before we get into this video today, I want to say a big thank you for 1,100 subscribers. I haven't got my soundboard plugged in, but claps for all you guys, and I'm just going to do a quick merch plug. First ever Chat Shit Get Crazy, we've got merch. First ever Chat Shit Get Baked merch. We've got some black with the orange pocket logo. We've got about 20 of these. Well, after pre-orders, maybe like 15 of those to go. And then got, maybe like 6 of these in various different sizes with the orange and the black on, with the black logo. And I got a little test run of flags. Boom, boom, boom. I've got 4 flags for sale. Boom, 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 boom. That's going to end up behind me somewhere eventually when I get to figure out how to hang it over the Last Supper. But the Last Supper's good for now. But if you want anything, give us a message on Instagram. It's probably the best way to get in touch with me. You've got the black shirt with a pocket logo orange. You've got the orange shirt with a pocket logo black. And you've got flags. If you want them all, I'll do you a deal. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you for watching and supporting.
Boom. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to episode 12 of Chat Shit Get Baked. And we are joined today, special guest Aaron Sharp. Welcome in. Yes.
I've got a lot of applause there.
Wait, that's it. Everyone does. Everyone does.
It's
only
get
good
many
people
of
on this podcast. Obviously, we're just, I want to start from the beginning, really, because I know you've been around a long time and stuff in wrestling. So I just want to first off start with like how you got into wrestling as a fan, and then like into it as a worker and like into training and stuff. Like, when did you start?
Okay, so as a fan, like we all are, I mean, I got into wrestling from 6 years old.
Nice one. Yeah.
My mum was a local barmaid of the pub, and she come back with wrestling videos. Never knew what wrestling was at the time. Started watching it, got hooked on it.
Yeah.
When I was 14, I think I was about 14, I managed to get hold of a company called, I'm sure it was called BWF. I'm sure it was British Wrestling Federation or something like that. But and at the time, there's not a lot of wrestling around like this today. So,
what year was this? When was this?
Oh bloody hell! 14, I'd have been. So I'd have been about 1999.
Fucking hell, long time ago.
Yeah, a long time
so
ago.
It wouldn't have been much at all then.
No.
I would have been 4 then, so I don't even remember.
Would you really? Wow! Now you're all making me sound old.
Sorry, mate.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I feel good. But yeah, so I rang them up when I was 14 and basically explained what I wanted to do. And at the time, because of my age, they wouldn't take me on. So they said, when you're 16, call us back, blah, blah, blah. Due to insurances and stuff like that, really.
Yeah, definitely.
16, rang them back, no answer. I think the whole thing shut down or something. So after about a year looking around, I got to a stage where I thought, well, I'm not finding anything. You know what I mean? It wasn't on everyone's doorstep like it is today, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. I can imagine.
Yeah, so funny enough, then I bumped into a wrestler, actually bumped into one. And they used to do shows in Skegness at Butlins.
Who was the wrestler? Anyone would know, or was it just someone?
It's just a lad who was doing it. He's quite young himself at the time, called Jamie Sly. He used to go under the name Shooting Star.
Yeah.
And he actually started talking to me, and I told him what I wanted to do. And he says, well, do you want me to have a word with a promoter who was Brian Dixon of All Star Wrestling?
Yeah.
Bless his soul. Lovely guy. And so I said, yeah. Spoke to Brian over the phone, said, yeah, come down. So I went down. And about 3 hours before a show, he says, oh, do you want to go in the ring? And start rolling around and that. So I said, yeah, okay. So I started going in the ring with the likes. I mean, at the time you had Nathan Bennett, which is Kid Cool, Dean Allmark.
Of course.
Yeah, some proper decent old school lads and that.
So was that like just you jumping in the ring before shows, or was that like proper training sessions?
Just jumping in the ring before shows. I'd spend a bit of time with me.
Just learning off the guys. Nice one. And then how long from then was it until you had your first match and stuff? How long was it?
About 3 days later.
No way. So you had to train him for 3 days.
Something like, funny enough, I went round, I actually started, believe it or not, learning to bump in a caravan.
Yeah, in a caravan? Like just
in a caravan. Yeah,
That's one way to start. Like,
but, yeah, right. And it was go on.
I was going to say, what was it a big? What was this? Because caravans, like, they're small anyway, aren't they? So there wouldn't be much space to do anything.
No, it was like a proper trailer, old park caravan sort of thing, and it was like really rough. You know, the floorboards were nearly going through, and it belonged to this wrestler I knew. And he said, "Look, I'll come in the caravan and teach you how to bump." So I only had a day's just bumping around, and then I spoke to Brian.
Did he live in that caravan as well?
No, he had a house right in front of it.
Just a caravan to practice wrestling in. That's
yeah, you couldn't live in that.
That's crazy.
Trust me, it was bad. But Brian said to me, "Do you want to go?" Well, this was on I think it was around a Thursday, because they used to run Thursdays and Saturdays. But Brian said to me, he says, "Oh, do you want to go in the Rumble this week? I've heard you've learned how to bump." I was like, "Well, over a space of a couple of hours, like." But me being me, I said, "Yeah."
Straight in.
Yeah, and my first wrestling attire ever was a pair of black jeans and black shoes, and that was it.
When you were younger, were you like as big as you are now? Were you in like good shape and stuff, or were you just like a young skinny kid? Or
I was quite chunky, to be honest with you. I mean, I was always well built.
I was going to say, with you, like only like having like 3 days, not even 3 days, like a few hours of training. Did you have like a good look or something, or was it just at the time like just like letting you jump in because you were like training with the lads and that?
Yeah, I was quite broad because I always lifted weights, believe it, from the age of 10. My dad
got gym that early, yeah.
Yeah. So I was always quite broad anyway. I had a bit of a look about me then, a bit chunky like, but you know what I mean. It's I looked all right, and I think 2 days later I was in a Rumble, first ever appearance, just like that.
Yeah.
Within a couple of days, and that was at Butlins in front of about 1,500 people, I'd say.
No way, first match as well. That's a crazy way to start that. Like, not many people get mad.
Right in the middle of summer.
It was a whole different world then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then from then, what was it like from then? Was it like shows constant from that one appearance?
Yeah, I mean, I used to turn up every week because they used to run the shows at Skegness twice a week. And before shows, you know, I'd help set the ring up, and then I'd just go in the ring with some of the lads. And I I learned a lot of multiple different people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just
the job and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just did a few Rumbles, and then I'd say about a month or so later, I remember Brian saying, "Oh, I'm going to put you in the tag match today, see how you go on." So then I started doing tag matches with more experienced guys, and then that led to singles matches, which then led to me just wrestling more often and traveling. And that's sort of the way I went, really. I didn't have to do no training schools for, you know, daft lengths of time or anything. I sort of just got chucked in the deep end and learned as I went along.
Learn on the job, that's one way to do it. Like, it's like sink or swim in it, and obviously it went well for you and stuff. So was all like early days, was all that with was it All Star, did you say? With
All Star Wrestling.
Yeah. And then like how did you start branching out into like other promotions and stuff and like getting about?
I just started getting contacted off different promoters. Yeah. Obviously, I knew a few wrestlers who come to All Star, a few different promoters who used to wrestle themselves and that. Yeah. And I just started getting phone calls. Can you do this show for me, that show for me? Brian obviously said go and do them. So before I was doing different companies all over at the time. Yeah. Say all over, there wasn't many companies around back then, like I said, but you had a few and it kept you busy. But it just sort of went on from there. So I did wrestling for a few years. I was getting to the stage where I was thinking, I don't know if I want to do this. So I didn't really take it serious. Do you know what I mean? I just sort of...
just doing it like bits and bobs and stuff.
Yeah, like a hobby. Do you know what I mean?
Got you. Mm.
Yeah, it wasn't a massive passion. But it wasn't until I was about 25 when I started thinking, actually, maybe I could do all right at this. Do you know what I mean? And started
How long had you been wrestling at that point when you hit 25?
Did
you say 16?
17. So 7 years. 7 years. Yeah. Plodding on, like. But no, it wasn't until I was about 25 when I started thinking, you know, maybe I want to
pushing and stuff.
give my all into it, you know what I mean, as well as just training, look after my physique and everything and try and push as far as I can. So yeah, about 25 I started taking it serious.
Was there like a lot more common, like a lot more shows and stuff popping up for British wrestling at that point as well? Because obviously, like you said when you first started, like there wasn't a lot, and like obviously, how did the scene like grow? Was there more shows and opportunities at that point?
Yeah, I think it was a lot busier back then, if I'm honest.
Yeah, a lot busier.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, you had Brian Dixon with All Star. He had a lot of he had the run of Butlins, which was all three of them. You know, you got your Ed Bogner and all that, and then you had other companies who had Haven Camp. So you know, and it wasn't just for 6 weeks. You know, it happened all throughout the year. So even just at weekends. Yeah. So it was busy. I mean, we was doing like about 7 or 8 shows a week. Do you know what I mean?
So like big crowds as well, like 1,000 people as well. Like
everyone,
just constant.
Yeah. So you've wrestled at Butlins, right? I'm guessing.
I've not done Butlins, but I've done Flamingo Land. That was a wild one. Yeah.
So these
loads of people there who are just staying at the park and that.
Yeah. So it is all them sort of places, like Haven as well. That, I mean, there was always packed solid, you know what I mean, to the rafters and that. So it was always, they're always going to be full. Do you know what I mean? And yeah. So
this is one of the as it ties in early career as like the question Bulk told to ask you. He said it was about Mama Pitbull, Bulk's mom. He said you were in a rumble like early on in your career. Something happened where you got like suplexed on your head, and then it all kicked off backstage because someone came over.
Do you know what?
He told us to ask about that and the guy who was involved.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought that was going to come actually. That's basically I got friends with the people.
One of the ones I've got on my notes.
Yeah. So I can't even remember where it was. I think it was where was that? Nah, it was a good. Trying to think. I think that was near London way or something.
Yeah.
I drove down, about a 4-hour drive from where I was at. Anyway, did this show. I did a singles match, if I remember correctly, and then that went on to me going into the Rumble later. And what it was, I got busted open, and then an heavyweight, I can't remember his name, but he was a huge guy, literally fell off this top rope and landed flat on my head. Do you know what I mean? Like pancakes my head. I can't remember nothing after that. It's like the heaviest dent I've ever felt. Yeah, right.
And you were young at the time as well, weren't you? Like, I remember you said.
I was about 2 years in, a year, 2 years in, and all I remember of it is just waking up. Well, I remember Mike's mum, Paul's mum, sat there like going over me because she was a nurse at the time, or had been a nurse. You know what I mean? Bless her heart, she's a lovely woman. I love her to this day. And she really tried to look after me. Anyway, there's another wrestler there who's sort of said, I'll take a look at him. You know, I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on at this time. Do you know what I mean? I'm just
a bit heads all over.
Yeah. And then literally, he said something what apparently was quite rude to Mike's mum. Well, if you know Dave and Mike, you don't upset their mum. Do you know what I mean? And
that's what I was thinking when he told us the story. I was like, what? This guy
so she obviously got a bit upset about it. And next minute, I just see Dave burst through the door. What you said to my mum? No, Dave's a unit, you know what I mean? And he was even bigger unit back then.
I can imagine. Jeez, the guy shitting himself.
Yeah. Then I just see Mike pick up this chair and chase after the chair, lobs across and all that. I'm in the middle thinking, what the freaking hell's going on? You know what I mean? I'm not with it at all. It's all kicking off. They're chasing him outside and all this. And it was just chaotic. And when I finally started to come round, I was just in the back of this ambulance with an oxygen mask on.
When you ended up having to go to like hospital and stuff, right?
Well, they wanted to take me to the hospital. I was in the back of this ambulance, but me being me, I refused to go. And then I drove home that night, 4-hour drive back and cussed.
I'd be like, hospitals are a nightmare the best of times anyway. Were you all right after? Was it just like a concussion and that?
Yeah, concussion lasted a good week. I didn't feel right for a week. It was a bit of a bang, right? But yeah, I mean, obviously, you think you've wrestled the toughest of matches yourself. Do you know what I mean? When you take a bang and you slight concussed and that, you're not with it at the best of times. And then when you got all fireworks going off and the size of both UK pit bulls going off, it's not.
I can chairs flying about and stuff.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Yeah, that was that.
So obviously you've wrestled like outside of the UK as well and stuff. You've been like, have you done like international tours as well?
Yeah,
can you tell
really.
anything about? Look, I think I was talking to Big Joe. Did you say you wrestled in Germany or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. What shows was that?
Yeah,
you're waiting for over there?
Germany, I did. So there's IPW. That was my first break in Germany. Then there's IWI, POW. So yeah, they're the main three in Germany. Obviously, got to work for. They all started with IWI for me, but then obviously the promoters all get along, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so they're all like working together and stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah, so I made friends with the promoters over there as well, and then that just led to more bookings with them all, and that just happened from there.
Nice.
And I got regular work in Germany then, so that was pretty.
Were you going over there? Was it like weeks at a time, or was it just weekends, or how long? Like, were you traveling like other countries as well, or was it just mainly like Germany and stuff?
So it was weekends. I was mainly going over Germany. I went to Italy. Just basically them two abroad. I did get offered other places, which I'll get to in a bit, but I had to turn quite a bit down. About I'd say last year before, there's a few different promotions in different from different countries that I was being asked.
So this was recently as well.
Yeah. Last year, it was either last year or year before. Like, there was a company in Poland who was contacting me. And then there's another one in Malta I was talking a little bit with. I could have gone over there.
Did it not line up, or were you just not like feeling it, or?
I can't commit to it now. If I'm being honest,
like busy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with LWP and that, I have.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. Yeah, sorry, go on. I was carry on there. Yeah, I was going to say, obviously you've got your own school and stuff and your own promotion, so I bet that takes up a lot of your time, like constant work, like obviously looking after a lot of lads and stuff. Yeah,
it does. It takes up a lot of time, and it just gets to the stage where, I mean, I'm doing my training school every weekend, and then obviously we're running a lot of shows ourselves now throughout the season and stuff, so all my time's pretty much dedicated to LWP, so I can't really go out there and wrestle that much anymore for anybody else. Which, the offer's always there. I still get contacted regularly now to do shows for other people, but I just can't commit anymore like I used to. Because obviously I'm so focused with LWP. But
we'll go on to that actually now. So how did you run LWP to like training school and promotion? At what point did you like get on to making that? I seen because I was putting a thumbnail together. I think the logo said, was it 2001 you started there?
2001, yeah.
Yeah. Did you start as a training school and a promotion together, or did they come separate? How did you just tell us about how all that come about?
So how it came about, I was in Norwich. I was living in Norwich, and I used to wrestle regularly for a company over there. And then, I just got to a stage where the environment I was around, it wasn't good for me. You know what I mean?
What company was it in Norwich? Was it the famous one by any chance?
Yeah.
Would you like?
Yeah, it was.
What? If you want to talk about it, I don't mind.
No. I mean, do you know what? It's no secret. I used to wrestle for a company called WAW, which you're aware of yourself, really. You know what I mean?
I used to wrestle for them.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah. I'll say. But I was there for quite some time, actually. And it just got to the stage where I didn't see eye to eye with them, with this company. And I had a few bad things going off at the time. I just broke up with my partner at the time who I had kids with, and that was in Norwich. And then a few other things, it just wasn't right for me. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, I've got to get out of it, because it was driving me to a dark place, put it that way. Do you know what I mean? And no. And sometimes you just got to understand. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I had some good times in WAW down there, and there's a lot of good times.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was good to me. There really
always
was.
the good, like the good. It comes with the bad, and especially in wrestling, there's always like good. Even like if promotions where like, oh, there's heat there now, but like there is always good times come out of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't change anything now. I mean, you know, it's been a while. I wish them all the best, but it was that way. I had to get out of the environment I was in, and you know, I moved back down to where I'm from, and I sat there one night. I was actually with my partner, and I was in the bath, just mind's gone shot, thinking I've lost it all. And it was Sabrisa's idea. She says, well, you've been wrestling at this point, I think about 18, 19 years. And she says, why don't you start your own training school and start teaching people? So I thought, well, that's not a bad shout. Do you know what I mean? So I put the feelers out. I put on Facebook, I put a status one night, and I said, you know, if I was to start a training school, would anyone be interested? Well, my phone was going off quite a bit that night. I thought, do you know what? I've got to give this a go. Nice. So I think that night alone, I was on the phone and I bought a ring.
Yeah, Jesus, that night straight away.
Just that night.
That's the way
straight away.
Nice.
Yeah. Got hold of a cheap ring, and it was it was shot to shit. But I bought all that. Yeah, I had to buy a few things on top, like the canvas and blah blah blah. But it was good enough to start in. I was getting regular work. Well, getting work from like Mega Slam and stuff, and I knew the guy who run that at the time. And I said to him, I said, look, you know, I haven't got my own promotion, but if I train some lads up to get to decent, you know, decent standard, would you consider putting them on shows and that? And which he was like, yeah, sure.
Nice. So it started off, your training school was the game first before your own promotion.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started the training school in the June, and I think I put my first show on, say, about mid-August. So it's only 2 months.
Yeah, not long after. So what was that? What was the show just with your like trainees on? Did you have like a good group of lads to put a show on, or did you like get other people in that you knew from like other workers and stuff, or was it a mix? Or
no, my trainees were nowhere near ready then. So it's just lucky enough, I've got a lot of friends in the business over the years.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Totally. I've been around.
Yeah. So I just rang them up. I said, look, guys, I'm putting on a show at so-and-so venues. Would you like to do any work with us? And they was all jumping at it, right? And the good lads as well, you know, like Dave and Mike and Joe and all them, you know, they really, looked after me. And it helped me for being good friends with them over years. Do you know what I mean? Training with them and stuff like that. So I had a good little head start with it all, to be honest with you. Some good lads around. So
the work for you and stuff.
Yeah. And about a year later, I started bringing my own trainees into shows then, and then they was doing all right. So it just sort of escalated from there, really.
Yeah, so just like build up from there. Nice. And then obviously now you do like, what was that? Is it Skegness, right? And then all like the holiday camps yourself. Like you have like them regular and stuff. So how did it like escalate to that point where you were getting like regular like runs and that through the holidays and all over the place?
Well,
is that just through like keeping at it, or like word of mouth and stuff, or were you like?
Well, no, not really. I mean, obviously growing up around this area, I sort of I knew a few people anyway. You know, who run entertainment stuff and like, you know, entertainment managers of places and that. So I just went out there, put the feelers out. I went to speak to them direct when they was behind the bar and stuff. You know, it kind of helped because I knew them as well. And
that's always say it's like who. It's not what you know, like it's who you know. Like it helps a lot, doesn't it? Especially in like wrestling and stuff for like pins and that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and like I say, my mate's got. Well, you've seen Happy Days, and that is my mate that owns that as well. So he was happy to give me those. Fancy Island, you've been there. That's a good venue.
Yeah, that's the venues are crazy. I love them. So good because I obviously being from up Newcastle, like there's not really like anything like that up here. It's all like down the country and stuff. So I really enjoy doing like your shows and stuff. Like they're great, like good atmosphere and stuff.
Oh, we loved having you, mate. I mean, obviously, I've only met you a few times myself, but straight away when you came down.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Same. I'd love to be back next year, as I've said. Obviously, like I think it was like Bulk, like it was with mutual friend, wasn't it? Like you put one to each other and stuff. But that's what I mean. It's like obviously, like Bulk always says, like you're one of his like best friends, like from wrestling and stuff. Do you know what I mean? He was met, and like I get on really well with him, so it's like it's how all click in it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a good thing.
It is, mate, and it's you know I mean I can only speak for myself, but I don't know what you feel. But I mean with our guys and that, it's a good feel backstage stage as well. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, as soon as I come down, like all the lads like with dead sound, like dead welcoming and all that, just felt like I was at like a home show. Do you know what I mean? Everything was dead.
Yeah. We definitely don't have, well, as you know, politics in wrestling. I don't buy it. Do you know what I mean?
No,
bad environment backstage.
Away. Like everyone was dead cool, 100%. I think that's the best way to go by, and it's just like no bullshit, isn't it? And just it's like keeps everyone right. You know what I mean? Like people, especially when there's politics involved, like people think the higher up and shit, and like want to take over, and like just gets too much.
You know what, Lou? I've always said at the end of the day, you know, my personal opinion is no one's really better than anybody in this sport. We've all just got our own good qualities. Do you know what I mean? And if we can all learn to work together and have fun, we're going to create some magic, aren't we?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's about elevating like the scene as a whole, because it's not no one really like, especially in like British wrestling, is a draw, so to speak. It's the shows that draw. Do you know what I mean? So it's like rather than elevating one person, you elevate like the whole scene, and it just makes. I think like from my experiences, like especially like the deathmatch scene in the UK is like a great example of that. Like, well, everyone's like dead sound, and like there's no like crossover competition or anyone like shitting on anyone, and like obviously all like it would start off with like Rise, and then like Kumite popped up, and the shows popping up all over, and that's exactly what the same attitude. Like it's raised the whole scene and stuff.
And it's
I just want to.
It's good that. Sorry, no, I was just saying this deathmatch thing. I mean, it's bigger now than it's ever been, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you're always busy, and Brett Semtex, you know, he's another great lad. I remember wrestling Brett in his first year of wrestling. I think he only been wrestling a few months and that. And,
you know, he's so good, and he's not even been around that long. Like, obviously, he'd come into it similar to me. Had his like MMA and kickboxing background, and I feel like that helps you pick it up fast, like coming from that background. Did for me, and obviously did for Brett. And like, yeah, he's great. I didn't even realize he'd worked with Brett before, though. That's crazy. How was that with it? I bet he's had a good one.
To be honest, when I first worked with him, I think he told me he was a bit nervous about wrestling at first because obviously it's fresh.
Was it dead early on? Got you.
Yeah, I think he only been wrestling about 5 months, and that was for Big Top. And I went down.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And
good shows.
Yeah. So basically, they built it up because Brett was his hometown guy. I put my titles on the line against him. I had 2 German titles at the time. And to say he'd only been wrestling 5 months, I thought he's going to be good, this lad. And do you know what I liked about him as well? He is a legit proper, like yourself, is a legit hard man. Do you know what I mean? But he's so humble. Humble, nice guy.
Dead sound, 100%. That's the one, like, the ones who are like, especially when it comes to like legit fighting and that, the ones who like don't say much and like make it known are the ones you've got to watch for.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, but no, you like I say, he's such a good lad, and I'm glad to see he's doing so well. And even with yourself, you know, it's nice to see lads that are humble about the job, and you know, just really, it's nice to see. You know, there should never be any jealousy in wrestling or nothing like that. We're all just trying to reach.
Yeah, it's one of the only things. It is the only thing. Like it's the only like thing like wrestling. When I was involved in MMA and fighting and stuff, and there was never like that political world. You know what I mean? It's the only like it's its own unique thing. It's like unless you're in it, like it's really hard to explain, isn't it? Like the shit that goes on and stuff. It's madness. Mad.
I don't get it sometimes. I really don't. Like, I don't know. Do you know? Yeah, again, politics is huge in wrestling. You've only got to watch Dark Side of the Ring or.
Yeah, well, that's it. There's like 10 seasons of that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? And they're still ongoing, aren't they? And, you know, like you say, with Britain and stuff like that, I've been around it for years where it's so toxic in certain areas, and it's just like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Do you know, it's not like MMA, it's not like boxing where, you know, you can have a reason to have an ego to a certain degree.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. And like, if there's any like challenge to it, it's like, all right, you just have a fight, and then the winner's the winner. Do you know what I mean? But in wrestling, it's all like, it's not like that, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's all like persona and stuff, and that's like egos and shit, and it just causes riffs.
Yeah, that's something I've never understood, Lou. And you know, with my own training school, and even when I've done seminars, the first thing I say to people is, you know, I'll always ask them, especially the new up and coming. I'll tell them a bit about what I've and I say, do you think you're better than me? And they'll say no, and I say, well, why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I walk through a door just like you are doing now. The only one thing I've got on them is experience, and that is it, nothing else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because, I don't know, say like me and yourself, how many years you been wrestling?
Like 8 years. Not as long as you. I asked 8 years.
Yeah, but the way I look at it, you know, you're not better than me. I ain't no better than you. You're obviously bring something totally different to the table to what I can. But that's what keeps wrestling interesting. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. It's like there's so many different styles, and like it's like I always say, like even in wrestling, it's like styles make fights and stuff. Do you know what I mean? You have like two guys who are completely different, but then also from like learning and stuff, like obviously you've been around a long time and stuff, and like I bet you I'm gonna get on to this next. Like you've worked with like a lot of big names and stuff, so yeah, you bring a lot of like experiences that not a lot of people in wrestling could bring to the table. Do you know what I mean? Which is obviously why you've got like a successful school and successful show. And it's good to see, man. It's good to see. But I wanted to talk about like some big names you've worked. Like I was talking to Joe earlier, and he's saying you've worked like Nick Aldis and stuff. Can you talk about any other like big names you've worked, or even like any experiences that stand out like that?
Yeah, I mean over the years. Yeah, I mean over the years, you know, Alberto Del Rio. I think I was one of his first matches out of WWE. Actually, his first or second.
After he'd like done the run and he got like released or whatever, did he come over to UK?
Yeah. I actually remember him putting an Instagram video, and it said, I'm sure it said on it, his first or second match out of WWE, and it was him giving me a snap there. So that was quite.
Was it? No, so you were the first person in his highlight reel.
Yeah, first one or two. It was either going to a show before that or after that. It was one or the other. But yeah, so you know, there was Del Rio and then Daniel Bryan.
What was he like to work with? Del Rio. What was he like to work with? Because obviously, like, you hear stories in the dirt sheets and stuff. Like he's a bit of a character. But what was your experiences with Del Rio?
I found him all right personally, but then you know, I'm just one of these guys. I just get on there. I like to just be polite, do my job, and just hope I have a good match. And, you know,
100% same. Yeah, I just take people how they are with me. Do you know what I mean? Like for face value, like I don't like, especially online and in the news and whatever. People can say shit and they can get fabricated and stuff. I've always been the mindset like you meet someone like that's how if they're good to me, like that's good. That's sound. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, there's Del Rio, and then I started when Bryan Danielson was around, Daniel Bryan. So I did matches with him.
He'd come over and he used to do over here a lot, didn't he? He used to do like the Mega Slam, was it? The Butland front.
Yeah. All-Star, yeah.
All-Star. Yeah. Is that when you worked him? Was it during those times?
Yeah. It was around a lot when I first started, actually. So I got quite a lot of in-ring time with the guys like him and that. Nice. And I mean, Nick Aldis. I mean, Nick was nice lad to be around. Obviously, X-Pop, wrestling alongside X-Pop.
Nice. Yeah. So you've like worked with a lot of like big names and stuff in your time.
Yeah. I mean, the match, one of my favourite, well, I wouldn't say favourite matches, but a guy I always idolised was Doug Williams.
All right, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, guys like that was like Doug and Nigel McGuinness and that. I used to watch them a lot because I used to love their style. I wrestled Doug a couple of times.
Did you? Good stuff. How were those matches? Well, I bet you because when you're in the ring with guys like that, you always come out of it like you've learned something. Even like you know what I mean. Even if it was a good match, you're still always like, oh, that was like you learn something like every time, don't you? Like, so how was it working guys like that? Where you like picking up things and stuff?
To be honest, Doug made me look like $1 million. I wasn't that. I wouldn't say experience. Doug was the first person who made me realise I can't wrestle. And really? I'll be honest with you. Yeah, because I thought I can wrestle till I got in the ring with Doug, and he started tying me up.
What stage? How long were you in the business then?
So what would I have been? I'd have been in the business about 13 years then.
No way, 13 years, and like you wrestled and you were like, I can't do it. I don't know what I'm doing.
No. To be honest with you,
the level. I've never met Doug. Like, to be fair, I've never like worked with him or anything. But like, it just shows. Like, I've heard a lot about him and how good he is and stuff. Just shows the levels, doesn't it? Like, 15 years in, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
just tell more about
that. I'd have really, for what it was, you know, to say, I'll be honest, I'll probably wrong, but Doug can make a mop look good in the ring. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you know, he's such a good all-round wrestler to learn from. I just wish I'd managed. I wish I had the opportunity to wrestle him, you know, further in my career when I learned to wrestle a bit better myself and that. You know what I mean? But
I think that like matches I've had with people like even like 3 years ago, I'm like, oh, I wish we could do that now. Do you know what I mean? Or it'd be so much better now. So I can imagine like totally.
Yeah. But yeah, there's been a lot of decent names. I mean, some that made it to the WWE, obviously TNA. It's quite a big list, but you know, it's even guys on the indie scene. You know, some of the well-known guys on the indies. You know, like one of my favourite matches was Leon Van Gasteren in Germany. Actually, that was one of my favourite matches.
Nice. I've not. Who was that? I've not actually heard of him. What was that? What promotion was that for? Was that one of the ones?
That was POW.
POW. What was the guy called?
Leon Van Gasteren.
Leon Van Gasteren. What was he like? What was it like? I've never heard of him.
One of the best wrestlers I've ever been in the ring with. To be honest.
I'm gonna YouTube him after this. I'll look him up.
Yeah. I mean, he's the sort of guy. Yeah, again, he's wrestled all the top from around the world, and that. And funny story actually with me and him, because it was a 2-night show. So we did the Friday night and the Saturday night. So it was their biggest show of the year. And I was booked to wrestle Leon the second night. The first night, I was in the ring and actually broke my shoulder on the end.
Really?
Popped out. So I was in a lot of agony.
Still had the weekend to do as well.
Yeah. Well, I went back that night and I said, I'll be all right. I mean, it was out and I was like, oh, fucking hell, that don't feel right. But then I was up all night sweating. It was, you know, really nibbing me. So I rang one of my mates. I said, look, mate, I've got to wrestle again tonight. I need some painkillers just to get through it. Like, do you know, something that just take this edge off.
Just take the edge off. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And anyway, so, you know, it did the job and I strapped it up and I went and wrestled him that night. And to be honest with you, he gave me one of my favourite matches of all time, if I'm honest.
Even though you're carrying the injury?
Well, I got back... well, the promoter said, do you want me to take you to an hospital? And I said, no, I'm all right, I'll be fine. But when I got back, I went to the hospital and I checked up on. And he said, well, your ligament's torn. He said, at the end of your shoulder here, it's cracked. And he showed me on the x-ray, you've cracked it. Like down here. So, yeah.
And then you went on to have like one of your favourite matches as well.
Yeah. Even, you know, as far as I'm aware, it got like match of the night as well.
And it was nice. Did you just not feel it when you were in there? Was it like just adrenaline kicked in and then like whatever else, painkillers and stuff, and like
I didn't feel a thing when I was in there
and stuff. What was it like after? Were you like, again, was agony after, or were you all right kind of thing?
Agony.
Did you have to get any surgery? Did you have to get surgery done, or would it be like tendons or a break? Or
well, when I went to the hospital, the doctor, he says, right, I got two choices. He says, we can offer you surgery because the way it is. He says it's a big operation. He says, so you won't be wrestling for about a year because obviously the way they got, you know. But he said, but then you got the other chance. He says it's only a crack on the end, but he says you could leave it, rest it, and it could just get strong anyway. Yeah. So I took my chances. I thought, you know, I was busy at the time wrestling quite a lot, and I didn't want to take no time out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get like a niggle and you're like, oh, I'll work through it or I'll tape it up and I'll work around it and that. And like, especially if you're on a good run and stuff, you don't want to stop.
Hey, I'm suffering now though, Lou. I do feel a little bit more now. The occasional bumps and that, I do suffer from it. And I am considering getting...
Sorry, were you going to say that? You're considering getting the operation?
Yeah, I'm considering it. Yeah. Going back and getting it done, because it's getting worse as I get older, you know.
I was going to say, what's your like wrestling schedule like now? Obviously, you like run shows and you coach and that, but like, do you still have like matches like every week, or have you got like do you just pick and choose like when you wrestle now?
Yeah, I just pick and choose now. To be honest with you, yeah. I don't wrestle for any. Yeah, I don't wrestle for anybody else anymore. Just LWP. Again, it's just.
I bet that's the thing though. Like obviously, you're wrestling your own guys, so I bet that's like a rewarding feeling in itself. Like you're training them up to that point, and then you can get in there with them still, and like have good matches with them. I bet it's like a very rewarding feeling still.
Yeah, it's good fun. I like to see him come through, up and coming and stuff like that. I mean, being realistically, my wrestling career is pretty much coming to an end, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? I'm 40 now, and I've had a good 23 plus years at it, and
long time, mate, long time that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm only 8 years in, and I feel it sometimes. I can imagine like 23 years in. You know what I mean? Over double. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I did try and retire. That's it.
Like, what's that? What you tried to retire? What happened?
I tried to.
Did you just have the bug? Just pulled you back?
I never understood it, mate. I've seen it happen so many times. I'm stopping wrestling, retiring, to say, and then they're back 2 minutes later. And I said I'm stopping wrestling. I never said the word retire. I said I'm stopping.
Just stop. Stopping for now.
Yeah, couple of months in, mate.
Like no one ever retires really in wrestling. There's always
no, they don't. Yeah, and that's it. I can still move around quite well for my age and that. Especially with the younger lads.
100%. You're in good shape, mate. You're in good shape. 100%. Like obviously, you must like train, just like get in the gym and that obviously regular and do like weight training and stuff. Look after yourself. Like you have a good diet, obviously. So like, physically, but it's just like when you're taking bumps and stuff. I'm like, that's to me. Like I've never had like an injury where I've had anytime I've been injured, it's just like, oh, you have surgery and you've had to recover. But I can imagine if you get the option, like, oh, shall I just keep going? And then it obviously over time, if your shoulders got worse, and then now it's like, maybe you should get the surgery.
Yeah, I can't wrestle like I used to, not as regular as I used to. I think I'd suffer. But if I'm just doing 2-3 shows a week, I can. You go at your own pace, don't you, in wrestling? Do you know what I mean? And you can work around it. But yeah, I mean, I like to bump around still. Do you know what I mean? I do try and keep up with the younger lads, but
like sure you can still go and stuff.
I'm
sure you still could, mate. That's if the body would keep up, I'm sure you still could. That's the thing, isn't it? You can't there's no time on there's a time limit on it, isn't it? It's like I would.
I mean, it's on you, isn't it? End of the day. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's guys older than I am that are still having great matches. Johnny Storm,
I love Johnny. Yeah.
Such a good lad, and
he's great.
Yeah, and he can still move around really good. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's got really good. I mean, I wrestled him. Well, I worked him years ago, but then I wrestled him last year, and it was just such a nice, easy flowing match. You know what I mean? And we did back and forth and that, and I respect him so much because I just said to him, I said, you can still move around really well compared to what you should be able to.
Do you know what I mean? Remember, I think it was like last year. He jumped on one of the over 18 deathmatch shows, and he did like a street fight with Michael Caden, and like he was doing bumps off the ladder. I think he did a moonsault off the ladder and stuff. And he loved, like, amazing, just fit right in. It was class. I just we've done like 40 minutes there. I appreciate your time. I just want to end on this because Bulk stole us to ask you about someone, and like I don't have a clue where this is going to go, so I thought it would be good to end on. A guy called Mikey Andrews. He said I've got to ask you about. So we'll end on that. If you want, I don't have a clue who this guy is, so tell us about Mikey Andrews.
Mikey Andrews, he's a character. If I'm being honest, there's not many people I do not like in wrestling. Do you know what I mean? But then there's one or two. What do you say? You know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice and polite here. I'll tell you what. This goes with the saying here. You've heard saying, if you've got nothing nice to say about anyone, don't say anything at all.
Right, that tells us a lot about Mikey Andrews. I'll have to ask both some more questions. That's nice. That's a funny way. That's a good way to end it, mate. I appreciate your time. I'll stop the recording, but I'll stay on and have a crack.
God bless, man.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you for having me, pal.
No worries, buddy. Anytime.